Welcome into the On3 studios here in Nashville, Tennessee. It is Thursday, one of the best days of the year. Yes, the Inside Scoop airs today, but it's also the start of March Madness, and we're here to talk some recruiting. We love it. You guys love it. It's the Inside Scoop, but we also love some tourney time. And I don't want you to miss out on any of the action for March Madness, so here's how we're going to watch all the games. Prime Video is streaming every tournament game live with a subscription to either Paramount or Max. And, lots of these games are on while we're at work. So log on, sneak in those games while you're on the clock. Prime Video has you covered. Watch every game on your phone, laptop. Relax and watch it at home on Prime Video with a subscription. It's March. It's madness. Stream it all on Prime Video. Now, today's show, we got some big visits happening all around the country. We'll head to Knoxville to find out where five-star wide receiver Jamie French is looking. He was on campus with five-star quarterback George McIntyre at Tennessee. Then we are going to head out to the West Coast. We'll check in with Justin Hopkins as the Ducks got some priority targets on campus. But we'll start with Notre Dame. Duce Knight, quarterback commitment. He's back on campus, but what is his commitment status? We check in with Mike Singer of Blue Gold. Big show. Let's get to it. Notre Dame is about to embark on a massive recruiting weekend, and we got Blue Gold recruiting insider Mike Singer on today's video to take us behind the scenes of this one. Now, the Irish also landed a big commitment this week from a legacy prospect. We're going to get into it, but Notre Dame fans, do me a favor. We need you to be a part of this channel, so hit subscribe for me, please. All right, let's bring on Mike Singer from Blue Gold. And Mike, we got a big visit weekend on tap. We're going to get to that in a second. I want to cover this latest commitment, and that comes from 6'3", 185-pound wide receiver out of Atlanta, Georgia, named Jerome Bettis Jr. Yes, the son of Jerome Bettis, NFL Hall of Famer, beloved Notre Dame alum. What is Junior's film show?
He's definitely taller than his dad at 6'3", and I've seen him in person many times. He's a legit 6'3". The size is there, plus length. Pretty solid route runner, catches the ball comfortably. I think this is a nice get for the Fighting Irish. He also looks really good at safety, and I know that Notre Dame is intrigued with his film on the defensive side of the ball. So while some skeptics might just think, they're just taking this commitment because it's Jerome Bettis' son, and talking to sources behind the scenes in South Bend, there is legitimate excitement about this prospect. Mm-hmm. Again, 6'3", 185 pounds verified, looks good on both sides of the ball. I think at least you're getting a solid special teams player and a rotational guy at receiver or safety. And that's, I think, at the very low end. At the high end, you could get, a really good boundary possession receiver, or if he does move to safety, someone who can help support, in run defense. And then, of course, in pass defense on the back end. So I think it's a pretty solid get for the Fighting Irish here, Josh.
Yeah, I agree. Film doesn't lie, and he can absolutely play, and I love his measurables at 6'3", 185. Want to talk about quarterback Duce Knight because he is currently on campus right now in South Bend. Big to get him back. Where did things stand with his recruitment/commitment to Notre Dame? It's tourney time, and I don't want you to miss any of the action for March Madness, so here's what we're going to do to watch all the games. Prime Video is streaming every tournament game live with a subscription to either Paramount or Max, and, lots of these games are on while we're at work. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to log on, sneak in these games while you're on the clock, and Prime Video has you covered. Watch every game live on your phone, on your laptop, or relax and watch it at home on Prime Video with a subscription. It's March. It's madness, and you can stream it all on Prime Video.
How about this, Josh? You're going to love this. He arrived in the South Bend airport around midnight Wednesday and was greeted by a handful of reporters. Like when Duce Knight gets to South Bend, it's a big deal. So, yeah, several media members were there seeing him. It's a huge visit. I mean, ever since that Atlanta Under Armour camp where you have so many media there, people are interviewing him. They're asking him questions about where things stand. It felt like every day for a couple weeks there in mid-February, there's a new story about Duce Knight and, is he going to visit this school or what's he thinking? Which schools is he talking to? Where do things stand with the SEC programs in Colorado? That's kind of quieted down a little bit. Yeah. He's getting back to South Bend. Again, got to campus late Wednesday and I believe he leaves Sunday. So it's a long visit, or it might be Saturday night, but long visit. Great opportunity for him to get around the other commits. Mike Denbrock, Notre Dame's new offensive coordinator. It's actually his third time in South Bend on the staff. Notre Dame was able to pull him away from LSU. He thinks the world of Denbrock. Duce actually tweeted out a picture Thursday. It was a TV screen, and it said, "You're next." And on the left side, you had Desmond Ridder. On the right side, Jaden Daniels. Of course, those are guys that Denbrock has coached. And Gino Guidugli was at Cincinnati when Denbrock was there as quarterback's coach. So the academic side of things, Duce loves it. But Duce has said, like, look, it's also football. Like the football, I'm here to go to the league. So yeah, Notre Dame's got a really good opportunity to kind of solidify him even more, and then hope that the outcome of this is, I'm not visiting any other schools for sure. So we'll see how it goes.
As of now, there's no other visits on his slate, correct?
Yeah, not to my knowledge. He'll probably be back for the Blue Gold game April 20th, back for an official visit in June. If there's another school to be concerned with, in my opinion, it's Alabama. But follow the visits, Josh. If he visits there, we'll see. But right now, nothing to be concerned about for me.
And Alabama's heavily involved with Julian Lewis. They're recruiting other quarterbacks as well. And getting Duce Knight back on campus for a multi-day visit that is not an official visit is big. Sounds like he's going to do it again around the spring game. So that's another trip to Notre Dame without using that official visit just yet. So I like where things are setting up, but like you said, keep an eye on, just if he does set up visits. But I'm sure you guys are going to talk to him on his exit from the visit, and we'll see what he has to say about that. Now, I don't think this is a coincidence. Wide receiver Derek Meadows, who goes 6'5", 185 from Bishop Gorman, he's on campus with Duce Knight, trending heavily to Notre Dame. Is this one that they can close out, or do you think it goes a little bit longer?
My guess would be it goes a little bit longer, just because he really blew up in January. Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, handful of other schools dishing out scholarships to him. So Notre Dame offered him last June, though. They were one of the first schools after him. So they have that ability to say, hey, we've been loving you since June. All these other schools are just now seeing it in January. So I think that is giving them a help in their leg up. But with those other schools offering in January, I think it's kind of a situation where he's going to want to see some other programs still just to compare to Notre Dame. But he dominated at their Irish Invasion camp last June, which is where he got the offer, returned for the Pittsburgh game at the end of October in 2023, back this weekend, and also set up for an official visit in June. He's admitted to On3 that Notre Dame is his leader. I think that this ends up with a Notre Dame commitment. Just might take a little bit longer than the staff would hope for. Not a lock by any stretch, but I'm in agreement with you. Notre Dame is the team that's definitely trending here.
Yeah, and he's on campus, so just keep an eye on. Let me know if he does decide to commit. Notre Dame, 6th ranked recruiting class last night. Alabama jumped him with the commitment of Duke Johnson. Alabama 5th, Notre Dame now 6th. What's next for this class? Is there anybody that Notre Dame wants or needs to land before summer recruiting months kind of get going? Inside Scoop fans, listen up. College football, the season's wrapped. That means it's time to get out and enjoy other things. I know it's all about college football, but there are other events to attend. I'm here in Nashville. Last week, I decided to go to a hockey game. But guess what? The tickets were sold out. That can be a problem for some people. Finding tickets before a game can be an absolute nightmare, but do not let this be the way your 2024 goes. That's why I'm here to tell you all about Game Time. It's a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the big-time matchups. Game Time app is great, easy to use, and it works in any city, any team, and you get the best price guarantee. So don't stress over getting into your favorite team's games anymore. There's only so many big games each year, and you need to get these tickets at the best prices. And Game Time, that's where it is the place to be for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Game Time is obsessed with finding ways to help you save money, like zone deals. This is where you pick a section and Game Time picks the seats for big savings. So here's what we're going to do. Snag the tickets without stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code INSIDESCOOP for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code INSIDESCOOP for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Yeah, Meadows would be a great one. I mean, they do a really good job, Josh, of like laying out all of the different times they want a top target to visit. Camp going into their junior year, and then a fall visit junior year, come back in the winter, and then the spring, and then the summer official visit, and we'll lock you up. So there's a lot of guys that, like a Meadows, they would like to land before the summer. I don't know if that'll be the case. They could take up to 5 receivers in this class. They got 3 committed. We just talked about Meadows. Raiden Vines-Bright from IMG Academy, originally from Arizona. He's another one. I believe he's also visiting this weekend and then back in June. So, yeah, I mean, receivers definitely a position to watch. But otherwise, offense is pretty much locked in. Could be some movement here and there. Maybe they take in a 4th offensive lineman to be determined. And here's a really interesting thing. They have 18 commitments.
I know.
The past few years, Notre Dame's kind of been in that 22 to 24 range. They could get up to around 27 in terms of high school commitments because we're not expecting them to go as deep into the transfer portal this upcoming off season as they have the past few years under Marcus Freeman. So the defensive side of the ball is really what you're looking at. Could they take 1 or 2 more defensive linemen, 1 or 2 more linebackers, a couple more defensive backs? The cornerback board is in a really interesting spot, Josh. Tons of high-level corners they're after. Are they able to land any? Mark Zachary from Indy, Ben Davis is a big one on campus right now. This weekend. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on him. Answering your original question about could there be someone who pops before June, he would be one to keep an eye on, as well as Dallas Golden, a cornerback listed as a safety. Notre Dame's recruiting him as a cornerback from Tampa.
Yeah, and you're right. The staff understands the process of getting guys to commit. There's kind of points of contact, right? You got to get them in for the spring. You got to get them for the spring game. Then you get them in for the summer OV, and then you close, kind of like you said. So it's a process to get them. And what that means is there are guys taking visits to Notre Dame right now that are on campus that will probably end up in Notre Dame's class. But, when that becomes official, we have to just wait it out and, wait through the process, I guess. So Mike Singer, Blue Gold, you guys are going to be active all weekend with these visitors on campus. Can't wait to see what Duce Knight has to say. Appreciate you taking some time to stop by the Inside Scoop today.
Anytime. Thank you, Josh.
Oregon has had a busy week with some big-name visitors on campus, so we're talking Ducks recruiting in this one, and I got Oregon recruiting insider Justin Hopkins on to take us behind the scenes of some of these spring visits that have been very important. But first, Duck fans, do me a favor right now. Hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We're trying to grow this page, and we want you to be a part of it, so go ahead, hit subscribe for me, please. All right. Let's bring on Justin Hopkins from Scoop Duck, and now we're talking elite recruits on campus. We'll start right here at the top with Noah McHale, one of the top linebackers in America, actually the number 6 ranked linebacker out of Laverne, California. And I see USC is trending along with Washington and Alabama on his recruiting prediction machine, but did Oregon make up some ground here with this recent visit?
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to speak with McHale, and this is the second visit he's taken in the 2024 calendar year. So, clearly there's a lot of interest. As we know, Dan Lanning has done a tremendous job cleaning up on the defensive talent out west. Basically, since his arrival, and last year they did so at linebacker, this is another big, important class for them to sign. Not necessarily a huge class at linebacker, but guys that are, a little bit more elite and ready to contribute. I know McHale's at the top of the list. He told me that the visit was great. He just continues to build that relationship with Lanning. And he mentioned this visit was more so about them talking about, how he fits in with their defense and how they would use him. And, as far as he was concerned, it was a pretty eye-opening visit, at least from that standpoint.
Yeah, not the first time McHale was on campus, but it was the first time offensive tackle Zaire Addison from Tampa, Florida was on campus. He goes 6'4", 6'5", 280, really highly sought-after offensive tackle in the top 200. Now, FSU with a slight lead over Oregon on the RPM, but that's not bad considering this is the first time he's been on campus, and he's not making a decision until August. So my question to you is, how do the Ducks remain in this one until the end? It's turning time, and I don't want you to miss any of the action from March Madness, so here's what we're going to do to watch all the games. Prime Video is streaming every tournament game live with a subscription to either Paramount or Max, and, lots of these games are on while we're at work. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to log on, sneak in these games while you're on the clock, and Prime Video has you covered. Watch every game live on your phone, on your laptop, or relax and watch it at home on Prime Video with a subscription. It's March, it's madness, and you can stream it all on Prime Video.
Yeah, this is a foundation laying visit, right? Get him on campus, let him see what you're about, and make sure that you remain a school that he's interested in. And I did talk to Addison briefly about the visit. Of course, he used eye-opening and all the adjectives you would expect from an Oregon visit. But he said really his chance to kind of connect with the staff and see how they plan to develop him. How well their offensive line performed last year, only giving up 5 sacks with Bo Nix in that line that they had. Those were all some of the things that he mentioned. So, as far as Addison's concerned in Oregon, this is that first visit he's talking about already. His official visit in June is lined up to visit Oregon. Again, if he's going to go into the fall, you're probably going to need to get him back on campus later this fall. But those are all things that you continue to work on. This was at least the first step for Oregon. And I think they are, he told me, he goes, they're definitely not outside my top 3 right now.
All right. Yeah, I like that. A foundational visit, because you're right. Like, if this is a singular visit, there's really nothing left to this recruitment. But if he continues to take these visits, then you look back on this one and say, oh, wow, he was on campus all the way back in March. So we'll see. Now, we're going to move on to DB Dorian Brew, and he's been on campus before. He's from Conroe, Texas. And at one point, still is a heavy lean to Ohio State on the recruiting prediction machine, but there's a little confusion. He was set to commit in January, actually January 24th. He postponed that decision, and now it looks like Texas, LSU, Oregon, and USC are making a move. Do you think the Ducks can capitalize, or do you still kind of lean Ohio State on this one?
Yeah, I think I would still lean Ohio State's direction. And the key to this recruitment is, will he make a commitment sooner than later? And then the second part of that equation is, if he does make a commitment, as we've started to see a new trend, will he keep taking more visits? Because we've seen that kind of become a new trend. And I don't blame it with all this, all the coaching movement and stuff going on. I don't blame these kids for doing that. So I think for Oregon, you really just kind of wanted to get your foot in the door, if you will, and stay on his mind. I think Oregon did a great job. I was able to speak to sources. I haven't been able to speak to Brew directly yet, but sources at Oregon did say it went well and everything. It was very receptive. And they feel like they're in the game. But, of course, we just kind of have to see how this recruitment will play out over the next month or so.
Sure. All right, we'll keep an eye on that one. Now, another first visit, and that was from Maryland safety Kanoa Winston. Will he be back, and is this a DB that Duck fans need to know?
Yeah, he just recently, dropped a top group of schools, and Oregon was among it, right along with this visit. After he got home, I think he got home Monday or whatever the case was, he announced an official visit with Oregon in June. So that certainly looks like they're going to be in line for an official visit, and they're in there. I did get a chance to talk to Winston. Once again, use the eye-opening type of adjectives, just like Addison did. Really receptive to Coach Hampton, the safety secondary coach at Oregon, and just kind of how they use their DBs. And not to mention that there is a need for safety in this cycle and an opening for somebody there. So I think all those things lined up well for Oregon. I wouldn't dare say that they lead or anything like this after the first visit, but getting him back on campus and continuing to build that relationship, I definitely think Duck fans need to watch this one for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, those were some of the big names that I wanted to talk to you about that have been on campus recently. And there's one more recruit that I want to address. There were some rumors that Nir White, the linebacker out of California, was going to announce in March. Now, March is pretty much come and gone. He doesn't have a decision date. If he did announce in March, I thought it was going to be Oregon. Now, though, visits are set to Tennessee and Texas. Do you still consider Oregon to be a good spot here?
Yeah, I think this is one that the Ducks lead. Ultimately, you just really don't need to fumble this one up, and you're probably going to be okay. I think Oregon's kind of poised for maybe making a bit of a run either just before the spring game, which is in late April, or right around it or right after. And I think Nir White's one of those guys that I'm really watching, maybe saying, hey, look, I'm going to take these final visits to Tennessee and Texas just to make sure, that Oregon's the place, or I don't, want to go back somewhere else. But I would kind of look for his recruitment maybe about a month out from now to maybe wind down. And unless something changes drastically, I still like my pick for Oregon. I still believe that it's Oregon, and I think everybody's chasing the Ducks right now.
Okay, good. Fair enough. Just want to check in on that. Now, this weekend, there's going to be no major visits because the Ducks are on spring break. But after that, it'll be a exciting run to the spring game where we'll see if the Ducks can nab some quacks. I think they might. Justin Hopkins, we'll check back with you in a week or so. Appreciate you dropping by the Inside Scoop today.
No problem. Thank you.
Tennessee five-star QB commitment George McIntyre was back in Knoxville over the weekend doing a little recruiting. And in this video, I got VolQuest insider Austin Price on to talk McIntyre and his impact on Tennessee's 2025 recruiting class. You know, he's one of the main guys in this class, and he's doing a lot of recruiting, mainly with five-star wide receiver Jamie French out of Jacksonville. We're going to go behind the scenes of that recruitment. But first, Tennessee fans, make sure you're subscribed to the On3 Recruit channel. We're talking Vols recruiting all offseason long. We love it. You guys love it, so get subscribed right now. All right, let's bring on Austin Price from VolQuest. And it was great to see five-star quarterback George McIntyre back in Knoxville this weekend. How vocal of a recruiter is he for the Vols?
Oh, he's for a kid that's kind of just kind of shy in a lot of ways with, like, you know, a certain group. He is very vocal in the recruiting game. Like, I mean, he works it hard, and it's not just receivers, it's not just offensive players, it's defensive players, Josh. And he does a really nice job of connecting with other players. This guy is routinely talking to, you know, five-star wide receiver here, five-star wide receiver there, five-star offensive tackle here, four-star safety here, and he'll be back in town this weekend because, you know, it's just an easy trip over from Nashville. So he'll be right back over here this weekend doing more recruiting. He'll be back in town when David Sanders is in town for the spring game coming up on April 13th. So George has set up a little tent on campus here, and he's working it.
Yeah, you and I talked about it when he committed. That was one of the advantages of having him committed so early, was the fact that he's just down the road in Nashville. So, hey, there's a big five-star on campus. George, come on in, be the ambassador. And that's kind of what it is setting up to be this entire spring. Over the weekend, on Sunday, Jamie French was in town, five-star wide receiver out of the Jacksonville area, and he had this to say about where Tennessee stands.
Man, definitely top three, man. They were here. They were top three before I came. Definitely top three, man, for sure, man.
What was it that puts them there?
The people, like I stated, the people in the building, you know, Coach Pope, Coach Hype, you know, Coach Halls, man. I love the people here. George, man, just getting around. I love this place, man.
You heard it. Quote, definitely top three. So, Austin, we know Tennessee's in that top three. Who do you think the other two teams could be in Jamie French's top three?
I think it's Ohio State and Florida State. You know, Ohio State's done a really nice job of recruiting the state of Florida the last several years, especially with the receivers. Hartline's kind of got a nice end down there with the South Florida Express. And, you know, I think they're right there at the top. Tennessee, I think, continues to do a really nice job here. Honestly, and I know some Florida State fans would disagree with me here, and that's fine. But I think if it's not Ohio State, I think Tennessee is emerging as that real potential number two. Like, I would say Ohio State is number one for Jamie French. But I think Tennessee is quietly moving up the board for him. And, you know, George has done a nice job. He really likes Kelsey Pope, likes Josh Heupel, likes the offense. I love the kid's kind of enthusiasm. You know, he's a big smile, handshake, look in your eye, very nice, polite kid with a really nice personality. I'm really impressed by Jamie French.
Yeah, you guys
I didn't ask him a question that I wanted to ask him, which was, which F is silent in his name?
That's the question everybody wants to know. And you guys did a great interview with him. I'll link it in the description of this video below. You guys can go check out the whole entire interview with Jamie French as he leaves Knoxville. Speaking of wide receivers, let's talk about some in-state wide receiver targets. Radarius Jackson, Cameron Sparks, and Joakim Dodson. Now, Dodson is already committed to Tennessee. Can they fit the other two wide receivers in state, Radarius Jackson and Cameron Sparks, in this class?
Oh, absolutely. I think Tennessee could potentially take up to 4, depending if they land all 3 in-state kids. I think they'll go swing big with Caleb Cunningham, Marcus Harris, Jamie French, Travis Smith. You know, you name it. They're swinging big for those other spots. But yeah, Radarius Jackson is one that is extremely high on Tennessee's board. And so is Cam Sparks, but Rodarius Jackson continues to rock it up. Charles Power, the first to have him ranked, moved him into the top 100 this past ranking cycle. I would venture to say he continues to move up. He's been really impressive on the 7-on-7 circuit. Had a really nice year last year at Sheffield out in Memphis. And so, yeah, absolutely. Tennessee would love to add all three wide receivers, in state. And then, if that happens, then they'll try to go and land one big name guy out of state, whether that's French, Cunningham, Smith, or whoever.
And there are a lot of great wide receivers in this class. So Tennessee, they really can't go wrong with any of the names on their board. Right now, though, Tennessee doesn't have any offensive line commitments, and it's early. They only have 6 commitments, sitting at number 12 overall. Ton of room still to add. Any reason for concern, or is it just still very early in the cycle?
Just still super early in the cycle for offensive linemen. Tennessee is, I think they're in a really good spot with guys like David Sanders, Jalen Matthews. I think the Utu kid from Vegas is supposed to be here this weekend potentially, and so Tennessee is going to continue to swing at Juan Gaston out of the state of Georgia. Yeah. Josh Petty's a name that you hear, but I don't feel like as much as is going on with him as like a Juan Gaston. So Tennessee's in a really solid spot. Now, again, there's a difference between being in a solid spot and eventually landing these kids. But until some of them start coming off the board, I don't think Tennessee's to worry, because the top guys on their board are the ones I just talked about. And, none of them are off the board at this time.
Well, this weekend, we're going to have another big recruiting weekend in Knoxville. George McIntyre will be back, so it's going to be big and important. Austin Price, we'll catch up with you next week after this big visit weekend. Appreciate you dropping by today on the Inside Scoop.
Appreciate you, Josh.
Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed that, go check out the hundreds of videos that we have on this channel, and also do me a favor, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel.